Hey guys, this is Chris Schmidt from Chromatic Music. You guys can actually take a look at some of my other videos that I've got coming up. This is going to be one of the very first videos I'm going to be uploading to YouTube. Finally going to start a little podcasting going on. I used to give lessons all the time, but now I'm not going to be really doing that professionally, so I'd like to keep a lot of people in the loop. But anyways, this technique is something that a lot of people have always kind of seen. It's kind of magical, you know, when they see me do it and they never figure out how I do it. But it's really, really quick and really fast. But remember, anything that you can play really, really fast is typically very, very easy to do. You just got to get the pattern down to it and let your, kind of muscle memory do the rest. But the technique is, let me just go and play it for you so you know what I'm doing here. It's going to sound like this when it's done. What that actually is, and forgive me if it sounds like a poodle, but basically the technique is really kind of acquired from a bass player named Victor Wooten. He was in a band called Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. If you don't know who Victor Wooten is, definitely check him out. Give credit where credit is due, because I never would have gotten to this technique without him. I was trying to learn how to play the typical flamenco technique, and my buddy Ray Carano knew how to play it, and he was a very, very good classical guitar player, and I sucked. I was really more of a lead guitar player. But as far as that, I never really got into it, never really wanted to, so I kind of figured it out by accident. But where it came from first is me trying to figure out on the bass, and the technique was basically like this. It was a down, up, up, okay? So as the thumb was actually doing a double thump, most people play a typical down to down to down to down with the thumb just kind of slapping it. But Victor Wooten does something where he actually clicks in between the strings, then he pops up with his thumb, and then while the first finger's down here, it pops again. So it's like a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And it does this really, really fast technique. I couldn't do that on the bass because it was I just couldn't do it. It was just really difficult. I hadn't figured it out yet. But I noticed that instead of trying to get between the strings, I could just slide over the top of the fretboard really, really easy. There was nothing there to constrict my motion. So what you do, the technique is very, very simple, but you got to do one thing. You have to keep your pinky down on the top of the guitar as you start, just to get the technique down. If you start with your hand just kind of flowing, you're going to run into a lot of problems, and I'll show you why. The technique basically goes like this. It's down, thumb going downstroke, then thumb going upstroke, and it seems pretty simple. The last part of it is the first finger flicks the B and the E string, just kind of like this. And it's just really just a 1, 2, 3, down, up, up, down, up, up, down, up, up. And the problem is a lot of people start off, when I show them this, my past students, is they would do a down and then they would do an up with their arm and then look where the first finger is. So they'd have to come down and then flick it again, so it'd be kind of like this weird motion where they're doing and they'd never get it. So what you need to do is just basically just do a down, up, up. And if you keep your finger kind of just like planted there, you can get your fingers in the motion. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And just once you get used to it, you just get that feeling. And then once you get to a certain point, you're trying to go faster. I can't really go any faster than that just because my finger's planted there. But what happens is, again, once you gradually build speed, then you can watch my arm start to twist like this, and then you'll notice that my fingers really aren't even moving at all. I'm really just kind of shaking them like this. So it's really kind of starts off like this, and then watch my arm start to twist. I'm really just kind of flicking. And I can get this crazy, crazy speed, which you can use for all sorts of different things. It sounds like this. This right here, I'm just doing a simple flick with my first finger where I'm just going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Just like that, and just kind of keeping a groove. And just like that, and that's just using my first finger flicking up and down and then pushing down and raking the rest. So what you can do is you can give that really cool triplet groove that's so fast when you're doing the same thing just like this. So you can use it for all sorts of things. You get really accurate, you got to mute most of the other strings, but you can also do the idea. It's some kind of sloppy, but you can do it on electric guitar, you can do it on bass, you do all sorts of different things. But again, once I kind of mastered it on the acoustic guitar, I was able to actually go back on the bass. I just picked up the bass one day, and then I could automatically do it, which was the craziest, coolest thing. So sometimes you have to play a different instrument to be able to bring it back onto your native instrument, and it'll work great. But again, the technique, okay, make sure that when you push down on the chord, you're going to basically do a down, up, up, down, up, up. Keep your finger rooted. Once it gets really comfortable and you get this motion, then what you can do is just kind of turn your hand. You'll be almost flicking your arm, and then when it brings back up, your first finger will always just kind of roll into it, like that. And that is first lesson. Again, forgive the glare. I'm staring right at the monitors. It's my first podcast, so I hope you enjoyed it. Gangsta-san!